Hello friends, good afternoon, happy Sunday. Let's go right to the news. Anthropic is planning to go IPO very soon, maybe in next couple of months, but definitely this year. Now, whenever a company goes to IPO, it goes to the common man and it asks them for money for a certain percentage of company. We don't know how much company they are offering, but what we know is that Anthropic is saying that their company is worth $2 trillion. Okay, so that is what Anthropic is saying. And how much money they are making, how much revenue? Their revenue is $100 billion run rate. Now, what is that? What is a run rate? What is the difference between $100 billion revenue and $100 billion run rate? So, $100 billion revenue is very simple. At the end, and in December 31st, you will have $100 billion in your bank account. $100 billion run rate is very similar to cricket run rate, right? Whenever you see Virat Kohli batting, it will say on the bottom, India needs 12 balls per over, 12 runs per over. That is a required run rate to win the game. So what does that mean? That means that as long as nothing changes and Virat Kohli keeps on making 12 runs every over for next 10 overs, India is going to win the match. Similarly, what Anthropic is, they will say Anthropic is at $100 billion run rate, which means if you divide 100 by 12, 12 8s are 96, so 8 point, let's say 2 billion every month. So what analysts are saying is that if nothing changes, right, then Anthropic next month is going to make, Anthropic has been making from January to August, this is August month, $8.1 billion every month. And if nothing changes for the next 3 months, if they keep on making 8.1 billion a month, then by December, they will have, in 12 months, they will have $100 billion. Not by December, remember that. Because in February, their run rate would be 80 billion. Then in April, their run rate would be 90 billion. Today, their run rate is 100 billion, which means if nothing changes in next 12 months, so by next August, they would make $100 billion. Very simple. It is a snapshot of currently. As of now, currently, India has made this many runs. Virat Kohli is batting. And if Virat Kohli keeps on making 12 runs per over for next 10 overs, India will make 245 runs, which means they will win the match. Get it? Required run rate is a snapshot of today. If nothing changes for Anthropic for next 12 months, they will make $100 billion. So obviously this is going to be even more valuable IPO than SpaceX. If you remember, SpaceX went public last month and it was valued at $1.75 trillion. Now Anthropic is saying we are valuing ourselves at $2 trillion. So what is the basic calculation? So if $100 billion is the run rate, which means $100 billion is revenue per year for next 12 months, and they're asking $2 trillion. So what you do is you divide 2 trillion by 100 billion, you'll get 20. So they're asking a 20x multiple. Okay, very simple. Now, what is 20x multiple means? If the company is growing very fast, it gets a higher multiple. Remember that. Company is growing slowly, like old businesses, oil and gas, telecom, infrastructure. They grow very slowly, so their multiple is less. For example, Reliance Industries in India, right? Reliance Industries revenue is $124 billion every year. So $124 billion is the revenue. Remember, Anthropic, there is no revenue. It's run rate. Remember, that is 100 billion. Reliance is 124 billion. And Reliance's market cap is 180 billion. That's it. So the ratio for Reliance is 180 billion market cap divided by 124 billion revenue. It is 1.45. So Reliance is valued only 1.45 times its earnings, whereas Anthropic is asking 20 times its earning. Why? Because Anthropic says we are growing fast. We are not growing fast by 10% or 20%. We are growing fast by 10x. So the run rate for Anthropic last year, 12 months before, was 10 billion. Today it is 100 billion. And if they keep on growing at 10x, then by next August, their run rate would be 100 billion multiplied by 10, $1 trillion. Think about that for a second. Is it so? The question is it sustainable, right? How can, and then if a year from now their revenue run rate would be $10 trillion, that is not possible, right? That is what we think, mere mortals. Time will tell. But let's assume that next year Anthropic's revenue is $1 trillion. But is it really possible? Because is the infrastructure ready? Like, will the data, let's say there's demand, let's say the demand goes 10x, right? But we don't have electricity. There is not enough electricity to plug into data centers. They have to buy chips. They have to create physical data centers. They have to get government permits, heating, cooling, etc., etc., etc. So even if the demand increases by 10x, is it possible for Anthropic to increase the capacity by 10x? That's a big question. And also competition is growing, right? As of today, Anthropic is number 1, OpenAI is number 2, but Grok is coming fast, right? Elon Musk is such a determined person that in the last meeting with the employees at SpaceX, he said that it is very vital that Grok has to win. There is no option. That is what he said. We will do whatever it takes for Grok to win this AI race. And Grok is right now in a distant third place compared to OpenAI and Anthropic. And let's not talk about Gemini. I can have a separate video about the problems with Gemini. So Anthropic is number 1 today, and Polymarket is predicting that it has 67% chance that by December it will be number 1. That is how the competition is. Imagine those Formula 1 cars, right? Every second one car is overtaking, the other car is behind, and the other car overtakes. So that is what is happening with the frontier models. So there is a 33% chance that OpenAI or Anthropic might not be number 1. It might be OpenAI or Grok, or let's give some love to Google, maybe Gemini. That's not going to happen. We know that. So these are the problems with in front of Anthropic. These are the challenges. Now, what is happening is AI market is growing, Anthropic is growing, OpenAI is growing, and Grok is growing. So this is what you call an expanding market, right? It is what you, for example, all phones were feature phones before 2007, right? iPhone was launched in 2007. So we all had those Nokia flip phones, right? We were talking, or maximum BlackBerry. When iPhone came in 2007 and Android came in 2008, they were like two lions in a field full of cattle, field full of deer, right? All these deers were the feature phones, and these were like two lions. So they both were grabbing the market share. So this is the best market you want to be. iPhone was growing fast, Android was growing even faster, but there were like billions of people who had feature phones. So somebody was buying iPhone, one person buys the iPhone, 3 people were buying Android. 2 people buy iPhone, 10 people were buying Android. So both market share was increasing until when everybody had smartphones. That is what you call saturated market. And then what happens is zero-sum game happens. Zero-sum is I already have an iPhone. Next year, if I buy an Android, which means Apple is losing a customer. I give up my iPhone and I buy the Android. So that is zero-sum game. Now you have to grab each other's market share. But before, like first 7-8 years, it was not a zero-sum game. There were like billions of people with feature phones, and a feature phone person buys iPhone, 10 feature phone persons buy Android, 2 feature phone persons buy iPhone, 20 feature phones people buy Android. So both were going. The only difference is iPhone was growing slowly and Android was growing fastly, but both were growing. But at some point, what happened is market got saturated. Now they both are grabbing each other's market share. So AI is in this position right now. Right now, there are so many people who don't use AI. So the AI market is growing. Like there'll be millions of people today will be using Anthropic for the first time, Claude for the first time, Grok for the first time, Gemini for the first time, and let's just say Copilot for the first time. So market of AI market is growing. So Anthropic is growing, OpenAI is growing, Gemini is growing, Claude is growing, everybody is growing. But what will happen very soon, and iPhone and Android were hardware. So hardware product grows very slowly compared to software. Software is just it's a magic, right? You just download the software and off you go. For hardware, they have to manufacture iPhone and Android phones, and they have to ship it to you, and you get the process. So very soon, what is going to happen is everybody will have one agent or the other. Some people will be using ChatGPT, people will be using Claude, some people Gemini, some people will be using both of them. But trust me, nobody will be used both of them in long term. You get used to one thing, and then you just keep on using it. For example, your browser, right? If you're using Google Chrome, then you just use Google Chrome. I use Safari. I just use Safari. I just use Google Chrome sometimes because if the website is not working. But my preferred browser is Safari. Yours would be Chrome, somebody else Microsoft Explorer. Similarly, what will happen in few years is people will settle down with their AI, and it will be very hard for them to lure them out of ChatGPT into Claude and vice versa. So what the risk with Anthropic is that yes, they are valued at $2 trillion, but can they keep on increasing their revenue? That is one challenge. Question is, what if there is no demand? What if the demand doesn't increase by 10x, which is quite unlikely because human beings are curious and they want to ask more and more questions. So let's assume demand keeps up. But then if the restaurant is full, if the restaurant capacity is 500 and if 1,000 people come in, people have to wait, right? So what if people want to use Claude, but Claude cannot accept people because there is no data center. They cannot serve the tokens. There is electricity problem, there is infrastructure problem, there is permits problem. So what if Claude says, like a restaurant, we cannot give you more food, which means people will go to other restaurant, which is Grok and Gemini and all. So that can happen. So the other question is, can Claude keep up spending big money and building infrastructure? That is the second problem. And the third problem is, right now it is not a zero sum game. It is open market. Everybody is using AI. Everybody's market share is increasing. It is kumbaya. But at certain point in 1, 2, 3 years, it will be a zero sum game, which means if somebody will have to leave Claude to use OpenAI, right? They have to steal each other's customers. So these are the three challenges, in my opinion, that Anthropic will face. But right now they are doing really good, and in a couple of months they will have their IPO. And once their IPO is declared, we will again talk about it, about how much float is there for the IPO, how much shares they're releasing for public, right? If the float is just 5 to 10%, then again we can have a big discussion on that, and then we can talk about valuation. But until then, as of today, the rumors are that anytime Anthropic is going to declare their IPO date and their IPO valuation, and I wish them good luck. Obviously, it's a great company. A lot of people have worked so many hours, so many years to reach here. So I think it is time for all the employees of Anthropic and the investors of Anthropic to get paid handsomely for their wise investment and their stock options. It's going to be interesting. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, bye bye.